we'll see chapter number 7, that is evolution. Okay, before beginning with this chapter evolution, we need to see regarding the definition of evolution. Then what do you mean by evolution? Evolution is nothing but it is the study of life forms on this planet Earth. Or you can simply say evolutionary biology. Evolutionary biology is nothing but it is a branch of biology which deals with the history of life forms on the Earth. Okay, then here in evolution you are going to study how there is origin of life. Okay, so then when I say the origin of life, there is curiosity for everyone. Okay, to know about how there was origin of life. So this origin of life on the Earth, it is considered as one of the significant event in the history of universe. Then the question arises, what do you mean by universe then? Universe is nothing but it is a very old, right, and approximately it might have originated 20 billion years back. Then what do you mean, what this universe is made up of? Universe is made up of huge clusters of, or you can say huge number of galaxies together is making a universe. Number of galaxies come together to form the universe. Then you may ask me a question, what do you mean by galaxies? Galaxies, what do you mean by galaxies? What is there in the galaxies? Galaxies are nothing but this will consist of stars, then clouds and gas. Okay, together will form the galaxies. Okay, then regarding this is all regarding the universe. Then moving on to the next part of this chapter is there are different theories. There are different theories which you come across in this chapter which will explain you regarding the origin of life. Okay, first of all, we'll begin with Big Bang theory. We'll begin with first theory, that is Big Bang theory, or it is also called as nebular theory. It is also called as nebular theory. This Big Bang theory was put forth by Abbe Lamented. Okay, it was put forth by a person known as Abbe Lamented. According to this theory, they say that the origin of life on Earth took place 5 billion years ago. Okay, then how did this origin of life took place? Okay, so they say that is the origin of this life, or you can say the origin of this universe took place from a rotating hot ball of gases. And that hot ball of gases, you call it as by the name, it is nebulous. According to this Big Bang theory, they say that the origin of universe took place from a rotating hot ball of gases known as nebulous. And this nebulous, one fine day, it exploded in a Big Bang way, and it gave rise to small pieces of hot gases known as nebulae. Okay, so here that is this nebulous hot gas is known as nebulous, which exploded to give rise to small fragments of hot gases known as nebulae. Right? This nebulous which exploded to give rise to a fragment known as nebulae. And one such nebulae gave rise to our so-called solar system. And you all know that our Earth, our planet Earth on which we live, is a part of the solar system. So you can say Earth has been also originated from this nebulae. And when did the Earth originate? Earth originated from this nebulae around 4.5 billion years ago. 4.5 billion years ago. Right. Then that time the atmosphere of the earth was not as we see today. The atmosphere was a primitive type of atmosphere which did not have the present type of gases. Okay, the atmosphere that time consisted of number of elements like iron, nickel. It consisted of elements like number of heavy elements like iron, nickel, right? Then it is also consists of number of gases like carbon, hydrogen, argon, etc. Okay, so the atmosphere at that time consisted of number of elements like iron, nickel, and also consisted of number of gases like carbon, hydrogen, argon, and you can also sometimes find that there is presence of silicates also. Okay, so this was the composition of the environment that time. Then later on, these, as the temperature of the earth went on cooling, the primitive earth, the temperature was very high, very hot, whereas as the temperature went on decreasing, these all the elements which were heavy elements, okay, which were less volatile, heavy elements, they precipitated and they formed the earth core. They formed these elements which were heavy elements and less volatile, they formed the earth core. Whereas the other elements like aluminium or the silicates, as they were light in weight, they condensed to form the earth crust. So like this, there was formation of earth core and earth's crust. Then here, that time, the sun rays were coming to the earth's surface and the sun rays were containing UV radiation, and this UV radiation was able to break down the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. You can see that is, in brief I shall write it. That is, under the action of the ultraviolet radiations, your water was broken. That is, under the ultraviolet radiations, your water was broken into hydrogen plus oxygen. Okay, now this oxygen, now it combined with ammonia and methane once again to give rise to water molecule again. Water molecule plus carbon dioxide and other elements. Okay, and then again you can see that there was again another thing occurred, that is, there is formation of ozone formation took place, O3. There was formation of ozone. So there was formation of ozone. Along with this, as the time passed, the temperature of the earth went on reducing, and that time whatever the water vapor was there in the atmosphere, now it got condensed and fell in the form of rain. And as the rain came to the earth, all the depressions which were present on the earth were filled with water, and then there was formation of oceans. Right. Then what about the appearance of life then? The appearance of life took place after 500 billion years ago, after the formation of earth. It was after the formation of earth. So you can say it is life appeared on the earth after, or that is after 500 billion years after the formation. I have already told you that is earth originated 4,500 billion years and then billion years. Then on earth the life existed after 5 billion years. Means you can say that the history of life is only 4,000 billion years ago. Okay, this is all about the Big Bang theory or nebula theory. The next theory we will see is the cosmozoic or panspermia theory. It is the second theory which will explain you regarding the origin of universe, or the, in brief, that is origin of life. That is cosmozoic, or you can also say panspermia theory. According to this theory, or before telling this, let me tell you who explained this theory. This theory was put forth by Richter. this person, they say that life originated on the earth because of some spores were sent to the earth from some distant planet. That is, there was origin of life on earth because some spores of life have appeared on earth from where did these spores come from? These spores appeared on the earth from some other distant planets. And these spores of life were called by the name panspermia or cosmozoa. And these spores of life which came to the earth were responsible for the origin of life, they say. But it's not true. Hence this theory failed to convince the people. Right. Then comes the next theory, is theory of abiogenesis. Theory of abiogenesis. According to this theory of abiogenesis, according to this theory, they say that life originated from non-living things. Okay, how is it possible? So this theory says that life originated from rotten dust, that is rotten saw, you can say rotten saw and mud. Okay, spontaneously, right? But this was not convinced. Okay, so they say that is your air, water, fire, land or mud, they have got the vital capacity to give rise to life or living organisms. But it's not the fact. Okay, but hence this theory was heavily discriminated, or this was heavily criticized. Right. So this is all about the theory of abiogenesis. That is, living organisms come from non-living things like mud or saw, which may be either rotten. Okay. Right. So this is all about the theory of abiogenesis. The next one is theory of biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis. This theory was put forth by it was Francisco Redi. It was put forth by Francisco Redi and was supported by Spallanzani and Louis Pasteur. Okay, according to this theory, life originated from pre-existing life. Okay, life, whatever that we see today, existed from pre-existing life. We can say life begets life. Okay, so here they say that, or by the experiments of Louis Pasteur, he experimentally proved that life can exist only from the pre-existing life by his Schwann flask shaped experiment. Okay, that is this fellow, that is Louis Pasteur, by his experiments, that is Schwann-necked flask experiment. By this experiment, he was able to prove the theory of abiogenesis. Okay, he took a Schwann-necked flasks, two Schwann-necked flasks, and in this he kept the rotten meat, or you can say yeast. One Schwann-necked flask. What did he do is, he covered it and kept for some days. Okay, and then he observed that there was no origin of life. But in the second setup, he kept the rotten meat or the yeast, and he kept the neck of the swan flask open. And after some days, he could observe that there was development of maggots or the flies. Okay, so you can say that it is only possible, that is, he kept it for the environment open, and then in the second flask you could observe the origin of life. Okay, so it was because, that is, the maggots had already laid the eggs, and those eggs, when they kept to the open, they hatched and gave rise to new flies or the maggots. And by the simple experiment, by that is using the swan necked flask, he was able to prove the theory of abiogenesis. Okay, this is the difference between the theory of abiogenesis and the theory of biogenesis. In abiogenesis, they said that life originated from non-living things like soil, or you can say mud, whereas here they say that life came from pre-existing, already existing life by usually process known as reproduction. It is very, very important. Okay, life can come from pre-existing life only by a process known as reproduction. Okay, this is all regarding the theory of abiogenesis. Then we will move on to the next theory, that is theory of chemical evolution. Next theory is the theory of chemical evolution. This theory was put forth by Oparin, or you can say Alexander Oparin, and it was supported by JBS Handel. Okay, this theory of chemical evolution was put forth by Alexander Oparin, and it was supported by JBS Handel. According to this theory, they say that life originated from pre-existing non-living organic materials. Okay, like RNA, proteins, sugar, etc. Once again I will repeat, that is, according to this Alexander Oparin, they say that life came into existence from pre-existing non-living organic materials like RNA, proteins, sugars, etc. And the conditions also were favorable, that is, the condition that time during that earlier atmosphere was very hot, or you can say the temperature of earth was very hot, and that temperature might have favored the formation of living organisms from these organic materials. Okay, so this is how, that is, life came from non-living organic materials or the matter. Right, then we will this is all regarding the 4 theories which we saw for the origin of universe as well as the origin of life. Okay, once again we will recall it. First of all, we have seen the first theory is Big Bang theory or nebular theory. Then second theory was regarding the panspermia or cosmozoid theory. Okay, then the third theory was regarding the theory of abiogenesis. Right? Then the fourth theory was about the theory of biogenesis, and the fifth theory is about the theory of chemical evolution. Okay, these all theories attempted to explain the origin of life on Earth. Okay, so next part of this chapter is regarding the Stanley-Miller experiment. And this experiment is very, very important from exam point of view. This Miller experiment may be asked, the diagram of this Miller experiment may be asked for either 3 marks question or 5 marks question. You should be perfect with this diagram, right, with correct labelings. So you can say that this Stanley Miller, that is, it was in the year 1953, that is S.L. Miller. Okay, along with this another colleague, that is Urey, he experimentally proved the chemical evolution of life. Okay, and this he did it in the laboratory itself. Okay, so here we will first of all see the diagram, and then we will next move on to the explanation. Right, so I shall draw the diagram of Miller experiment. So this Miller, he tried to create the environment which was present, primitive environment which was there in the earth that time, and this he did in the lab itself using a glass apparatus which was having vacuum. So you need to carefully draw this diagram with having, if it is asked for 3 marks question, you need to do 6 labelings, and if it is asked for 5 marks question, you need to go for 10 labelings. So here he took the boiling water at one point, and he also took 2 electrodes, and in this chamber it was all filled with the gases like methane, ammonia, and here hydrogen, okay, etc. Then here this was a condenser. Okay, this is a condenser where the water goes out and the water comes in. Okay, so these are the electrodes. Okay, then this is the vacuum pump. Okay, and this is the boiling water, right? And this is a U-tap, okay, where all the liquid is what is going to get collected, right? And then this is how the water is going to flow. Alright, so this is an setup to say, you can say, give it the heading that is Miller experiment, or you can say it is Stanley Miller experiment. This is a diagrammatic representation of the Miller experiment. So here you can see they constructed all using a glass apparatus. It is a closed apparatus. Then all the content of the air in the apparatus was removed using the vacuum pump, and it was made airtight. Okay, here at one end of the apparatus there was boiling water was kept, and as a result this boiling water produced the steam, and this steam you can see was circulated everywhere throughout the apparatus. Simultaneously at the other end, in this side, you can see in this chamber 2 electrodes were introduced, and then you can see that along with the electrodes the gases were also introduced. That is, the gases like methane, ammonia, hydrogen were introduced in the ratio 1:2, 2:1. Okay, sorry, 1:2, 2:2. That is 1 part of methane, 2 parts of hydrogen, and 2 parts part of ammonia were introduced, and simultaneously using the electrodes a spark was generated. That is, a spark was generated or the spark was created at 800 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then what happened after the spark was generated? As the steam was circulating in the apparatus, this steam carried the products of this reaction into the lower part of this chamber, or you can say carried all the, that is, products of this were carried to the lower part, and while coming to the lower part, the contents of the water, that is the steam which was there, which was carrying the materials of the reaction, was brought to the U-trap, and while coming it was cooled by using the condenser, and all the steam was cooled and it got reduced to water droplets. Okay, and these water droplets were here stored here, and then when after some days, that is, this was continuously did, and after some weeks it was found by the analysis of the water of this U-tap that this U-tap water contained number of building blocks of life, like it contained proteins, it contained fats, it contained sugars. Those are nothing but these are all the buildings of blocks of life. And similarly, when they analyzed the meteoritic content, the meteoritic content and the content which was found in the U-tap water was almost same, and this gives an evidence that there might have chemical evolution that might have occurred, and that chemical evolution might have given rise to the origin of life on earth. Okay, is it clear? Once again we'll see, at one side there was boiling water, another side in a chamber there was introduction of gases in the ratio 1:2:1, as well as electrodes were there, and then a spark was generated at 800 degrees Celsius. As a result, okay, number of materials or the number of products were generated, and these products were carried by the steam, and this steam was cooled into water droplets by using this condenser, and all the water droplet containing number of products were collected over here. Okay, and this, when you analyze this water which was collected, it showed that it contained number of building blocks of life, which gives an evidence for chemical evolution of life, or you can say life might have come from such a condition which was there in the primitive environment. Okay, right? This is all about the experiment, but this experiment did not give any idea regarding the self-replicating life forms. Okay, but this idea only gave you idea regarding the non-living giant molecules like RNA, protein, sugars, etc. According to this, they say that this primitive organic molecules or the building blocks might have originated 3 billion years back. Okay, coming to the origin of living organisms, they say that the first living organism might have been a single-celled organism which might have originated in the aquatic environment. This was just an assumption which was given, but it was not totally explained. So in today's class we'll stop here. In the next class we'll see the next part of this chapter. So for today's class, the most important part is the Miller's experiment. I want you people to practice this diagram because it is important from the exam point of view. Thank you.